Hey everybody, it's Mandy from Tropical Forge. I talk a lot about freeze drying on our channel. Something that I experimented with last fallish, I did a short on it, was freeze drying heavy cream. There was a lot of naysayers and people told me that that's silly, you can't do that. I talked to Harvest Right, who is the manufacturer of our freeze dryer. If you're new to freeze drying, I will drop my affiliate link in the description so that you can check those freeze dryers out. They're amazing. It's an awesome tool if you love to homestead or preserve food or stock your pantry or any of those things. So I'll drop my link below. If you have questions about using the freeze dryer, let me know. I do have several videos about it. I can link those too. So I freeze dried heavy cream in, I lied, August of 2022. So this is 10 months old at this point. It doesn't smell. It's been sitting in my pantry. So what I did was I kind of experimented. I did a run in the freeze dryer. I put a jar in the fridge, a jar in the freezer, and a jar in the pantry. Obviously the jar in the freezer is fine. The one in the fridge we've been using from, and the one in the pantry we've been using from. Obviously, as you can see, it's not full anymore. Harvest Right says that you can safely preserve it freeze dried for 2 years. So, and that would, I assume, be in a Mylar bag with an oxygen absorber. I don't think I put any in a Mylar bag because I kind of just wanted to see how it would go. Now I've had this in a jar, not vacuum sealed. Honestly, I don't even have an oxygen absorber in here. A lot of times when I powder stuff, we use it up. When I say so quickly, I mean like less than a year, 6 months to a year or so. I didn't put anything, moisturizer or anything in this, and it has been great. So I'm going to show you quick how I use this to make Alfredo sauce. We really like Alfredo sauce on pasta. We don't eat pasta too often, maybe a couple times a month, but this is great to make Alfredo sauce with. A lot of store-bought Alfredo sauce is just kind of meh and has a lot of things in it that you don't really know what they are, or they're just really full of non-nutritional calories, I guess. You know, this is heavy cream from a local farm when we lived in Lancaster. So local enough, 2 hours from where we are now. And then the rest of the things that go in it are some things that I freeze dried, but you just get a little bit more nutritional value when you're making something like pasta. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I would definitely encourage you, if you get a freeze dryer, maybe don't start with heavy cream, but put it on your shelf, because I used to just put it in the freezer, which I still do. Sometimes I just put it in ice cube trays and I'll freeze ice cubes of it, or I'll freeze like muffin tin sizes of it so I can use it for different recipes or whatever. I will say that when you reconstitute it, it's okay to maybe say add to your coffee. It can sometimes get a little clumpy. It's not my favorite. If I had to, I would. But you know, we typically just have raw milk on hand because we have lots of places to get raw milk. If you want to try to make whipped cream, like to put on whatever, cake or ice cream or whatever you would put whipped cream on, fruit or something like that, it's not really great for that. I tried it. It doesn't get the fluffiness that you would want from whipped cream. So I wouldn't keep it on the shelf with the high expectations of being able to make whipped cream on the fly. But for things like Alfredo sauce, which I feel like is a great thing to have in your pantry that you can make really quickly, because you can whip up your own Alfredo sauce 5 or 10 minutes. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So the ratio for reconstituting this is basically 1-to-1. I need 1.5 cups to make Alfredo sauce. So I put 3/4 of a cup of my freeze dried heavy cream in here, and I'm going to put 3/4 of a cup of water in. You could also do milk. Actually, maybe let's do milk. You could reconstitute it with milk. It would be a little bit richer. You get a little bit more protein, more calories, but obviously, in my opinion, decent calories because you're getting the benefits of the milk. All right, so in my pot, I melted my 1.5 cups of, I'm sorry about this hair, good Lord. My 1.5 cups of heavy cream. I did 1/2 cup of butter, and then you can really get creative at this point. So I did my freeze-dried onions. So when I do freeze-dried onions, I don't actually freeze-dry the onions themselves. I take like the outer layer of onion and the skins, throw them on freeze-dry trays, powder them, and then I essentially get like free onion powder that tastes amazing, like way better than what you buy in the store, because otherwise I'd probably just compost them. Or I throw them to my chickens, don't tell anybody. Like, I used to throw onion peels to my chickens, and let me tell you, they were fine. Whatever, that's a different conversation. So I also added spinach powder, so we freeze-dry spinach, because we like to have like greens, powdered greens on hand. So you can add garlic in. You could do fresh garlic. You could do powdered garlic. Salt and pepper, of course. You can really get creative at this point. The base is really the heavy cream and the milk. And then you can throw in like 2 cups of cheese at the end, and that'll really thicken it up. I did mozzarella. You can do parm. Frankly, sometimes I do cheddar because maybe that's all I have. It doesn't really matter. A white cheese is probably a little bit more visually appealing, but taste-wise, I don't know. I don't get excited about these things. I'm not a gourmet chef. We're just here to make like good whole food meals that taste delicious. So that is seriously it. Like, I seriously made this Alfredo sauce in no time. And if I figured out if you follow me, you know that like I'm a super grocery nerd and I love doing like grocery math. This probably costs nothing. So I have that going. I have my whole grain pasta boiling in my turkey broth, which we got off of the turkeys that we raised last year. I'm going to put this turkey from those same turkeys. So got the meat off, took that broth and canned that broth. And so we're gonna have turkey and whole wheat noodles and the spinach pasta sauce. We're gonna throw in some peas, and it's just gonna be delicious and super. And here comes Zuzu. Just a super delicious meal. So what I really wanted to tell you about was putting heavy cream on the shelf, because again, if you're like me, these sort of things are fascinating and you love just like experimenting and trying things, and you know, hope nothing bad happens. It'll be fine, trust me. We've been eating it for like 10 months, like I said, and everything has been fine. So I would encourage you to try those funky things, get a freeze dryer, start with easy stuff, fruits, you know, herbs, things like that, and then try like ground meat. I know sometimes people have a little bit of trouble jumping to ground meat. P.S. you should cook your meat first, in my opinion. I don't want to freeze dry raw meat. That's just me. And then jump into dairy. So there are some things that can be a little hairy. So, you know, research on Harvest Right's website and see, but heavy cream can be done. I'm here to tell you it can be done. It made us delicious Alfredo sauce tonight when I didn't have heavy cream in the fridge. So if you have any questions about any of this stuff, as always, let me know. We'll see you next time.